This is the SS History sailing towards the Celtic Sea, not knowing just an hour later it would meet its end. But you may ask, who, what, and how did SS History come to be? And I answer them with you using time travelling. In the 19th century, the Histonik Mail and Telegraphs Company later was given more technologically advanced ships, which were paddle ships that could accelerate ships across the American continent and deliver mail. However, as ship grew in size, the Histonik Mail and Telegraphs Company would later quit its original business and would become a transatlantic ship company. The newly company would later buy its first ever transatlantic ship from the Spain Lines and would call the ship SS History. Originally fitted with outdated technology, History was modified with the recent technology of the 1870s. This would include a more powerful and bigger twin engine. History also had large sails to increase the speed to 15 kts. During the First World War, History was rapidly modified with newer ship technology. He was also the last of the History-class ocean liners. History was also fitted with more stronger hull and a powerful steam engine, which accelerated its speed to 17 knots with sails. History would later arrive at the port of New York, ready for a planned trip tomorrow. History started loading passengers on the early morning of May 4, 1916. History's voyage would set sail onto Dublin. Because of the limitations of the First World War, History would only follow a path where it was protected by British battleships. With that, History's voyage would start very early, then planned. History's 3 propellant engines would start as he leaves port. Leaving the port of New York, History's passenger would say goodbye to their loved ones. At 8:07, History would fully leave its port and now heading towards the Atlantic. And at 8:19, History would reach its top speed, its funnels buzzing out smog like crazy. The plan for History is that once it arrives at the coast of Brest, it would do a series of maneuvers in order to dodge German threats. Just on the night of May 8, 1916, History would later arrive at the coast of Brest. His sails have to be unhoisted because the wind was blowing the other direction, which would have slowed down the speed of History. Sailing at 14 knots, History became the centre of attention towards enemy warships, and so History's main lights have to be cut off in order to avoid its attention. Now, in complete darkness, History, visibility became too poor. and so they would just rely on lighthouses to do a maneuver. On 9:37, History would detect a dim-lidded object. Suspecting to be a German ship, they flashed their lights only to find out it was a French one. Later, on 9:51, History would detect the French lands, however, would find no lighthouse. The captain, suspecting that they have driven off course, does a maneuver to just follow the coastline. The captain was very skeptical because they were not ordered to make their own manuevers. This manuever would later prove deadly in the following minutes. Deep below, within the ocean floors, History had accidentally driven off course towards a German mine zone. The captain did not notice it until the last moment. However, it would be too late, as History could not avoid in time. Within seconds, History began listing. Passengers were heavily awakened towards the sound and 32 people died. 3 compartments were compromised, and the 4th one began to flood water. The sinking was so fast that only 5 lifeboats were deployed out between the 6 letting know of his presence before he sank underneath the waves. The SS History later sank 17 minutes after it struck a mine. Out of the 506 passengers, only 390 survived. However, just 3 minutes after History submerged under the water, a catastrophic explosion would occur. The explosion was so violent that it was overheard 7 miles away. It also destroyed 2 lifeboats and injured the remaining, leaving 283 alive. The truth, however, behind the explosion was the cargo it was carrying. In an operation named Get Go, History was a part of transporting ammunition to support the Allies, which included bombs that triggered the explosions. French destroyer Bisson would later become the first to assist History's passengers, following 2 other British ships. The sinking of SS History would remain a classified information until it would be revealed after the war. It was classified information to not gain the attention of the Germans about their operation. His wreck was later found on 1967. Its legacy would live on as the oldest ship to ever sunk during the First World War. SS History was also the first Histonik Lines vessel to sink. Despite his toxic environment left after the explosion, SS History would lay to rest forever remembered.